Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the second trimester recap. I cannot believe we are done with the second trimester. It's so exciting. So today I'm going to share my second trimester symptoms, some things that got better, some things that got worse, some second trimester must-haves and things that I cannot live without during this pregnancy. And then I'm also going to talk about some mental and emotional changes that happened during this trimester. So the second trimester runs from week 14 to week 27 and I am currently 27 weeks and 5 days, so I'm basically at the end of my second trimester, and I feel like I've had a lot of things happen that I want to share with you guys. If you've been watching the vlogs, you've been caught up, but this is going to be a nice recap of everything. So let's jump right in. First and foremost, just want to answer the question of which prenatal that I'm taking, because I get that question a lot, and I am taking the Ritual Essential for Women prenatal. It's my absolute favorite. It's the only prenatal that my doctor recommends and trusts and told me to take, and I've been loving it. I've been taking it throughout my entire TTC journey, and I will continue to take it for future pregnancies. And they are sponsoring today's video. What I love is that it has a capsule and capsule technology. It's super easy and gentle on my stomach. It doesn't make me sick or anything. Even in the first trimester, I had no problem getting this down. The first 28 days of pregnancy are so crucial to baby's development, especially the brain and spinal cord. So you want to make sure that you're taking a good prenatal. And it's the first prenatal that's made traceable, so you can trace back where they get every single one of their ingredients. You know exactly what you're putting into your body, which is why my doctor is so passionate about Ritual. He would not let me take any other brand. It's third-party certified, which means they test for heavy metals, microbes, and major allergens, and it's Clean Label Project certified. It's just 2 capsules daily, either lemon or mint essence, which are really easy and enjoyable to take. It's also a subscription, so you never have to remember to order the next one. It just comes straight to your door, and you guys can get 20% off your first Ritual order with my code RachelV20, so make sure to check out the link in the description. RachelV20 for 20% off your first order, money back guarantee if you're not satisfied within 30 days, which is super cool. Okay, the first thing that changed for me in the second trimester is that I got super thirsty, and I'm drinking way more fluids than I used to. I used to only drink about 1 of these Stanleys a day, which is about 40 ounces, and now I'm drinking 2 to 3 if you add up all of the liquids that I'm drinking. So that's been a big change. I think our bodies are really smart. They know what to do, and my body clearly needed more water. Another thing is that I became obsessed with seltzer water or sparkling water. Anything that's carbonated, I just cannot get enough of it. So I drink. Yesterday I literally googled, is it bad to only drink sparkling water? Because yesterday I had like 4 Pellegrinos. I just hope that that's not bad for me, because I love sparkling water. I will chug a sparkling water in the middle of the night. I'll get out of bed, go to the fridge, crack a cold one open and chug it, and then I'll regret it because I have to pee like every 30 minutes, which is the next thing that changed during the second trimester. I've always been someone that has to go to the bathroom a lot, but during pregnancy and as my baby's getting bigger, I swear I have to go to the bathroom every 45 minutes. During my sleeping time at night, why did I say sleeping time? That's so weird. I literally wake up every hour and a half on the dot to use the restroom, so we're loving that. And it is what it is. It's something that I think is preparing me for having a newborn, having to wake up a lot. So it is what it is. But yeah, going to the bathroom is a big part of my life. And if I'm at a social event and there's not a bathroom easily and readily accessible to me, I will leave. Like, I was at a gathering once recently and there was only 1 restroom, a lot of people there, the restroom was just constantly occupied, and I couldn't like trust that I could get access to that restroom, so I literally left the event a little bit earlier than I would have, just because I knew I would have to go to the bathroom in like 10 minutes, and I knew once I have to go, I have to go. Like, there are certain movements my baby will make where he like punches my bladder or something, and I have to go. I have to go. All right, then I started to feel my baby move. This was around 17-18 weeks. I do have an anterior placenta, so my placenta's in the front, which makes it a little bit harder to feel my baby's movements. So around 18 weeks, I could confidently say that I was feeling movements, and that just made the whole thing feel a little bit more surreal, and that was the coolest symptom ever. I'll say that my fatigue continued from my first trimester. It continued into my second trimester. The second trimester energy that people talk about, I never really experienced that. I've just kind of been at this constant state of always feeling a little bit more tired than usual, and I think that's totally normal. I am very grateful that my morning sickness did stop at around 11 weeks, so well before the second trimester. I started getting constipated in the second trimester, and I still am. And that was very shocking to me because I did not realize, I never really struggled with that on a consistent basis. So I've implemented some things which I'll talk about in my must-haves, but that was a big, and still is a big thing for me in this pregnancy. I'm also very, very hot. So at nighttime, I will normally, sleep with clothes on, sleep with a full, like, thick duvet and be perfectly fine. But now it's like the thinnest blanket ever. I have my own blanket separate from AJ. And I will find myself like in the middle of the night, I'll just be like so hot and want to like throw everything off. And that continues through like at the workplace or going to the grocery store. I'm usually always someone who brings a jacket with me because I'm always cold. And during this pregnancy, especially second trimester, I think it's also because I'm gaining weight. And the bigger I am, the harder it is to move around, the hotter I get. So that's been very different for me. I also started getting nosebleeds in the second trimester, and this is something that only really happens to me when I go from a humid climate to a dry climate. But I get nosebleeds probably about once a week right now. They're not super aggressive, so they don't like flow and flow and flow. It'll just bleed for a couple minutes. I'll put like a little paper towel in there and it's fine, but that was definitely interesting to me. Towards the beginning of the second trimester, I would get headaches probably like every other day. I would get a headache up until maybe about 20 weeks, and then the headaches went away. So that is super awesome. I would just take like 1 Tylenol or 2 Tylenols if it was really bad, but that is something that I noticed. I also started having acid reflux, and I still do. I don't have it every day or every meal, thank goodness, but sometimes I'll just have like this bubbling up and it'll want to come out, but it won't come out. And it's just like this gross feeling in my chest, in my esophagus of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, literally feels like acid, and it's just like the weirdest, worst feeling ever. The burping, oh my goodness, pregnancy burping is next level. I burp so much. I have to like stop myself and remember that it's not appropriate to burp in public, to burp at the workplace, or even just in front of my husband at home. Like I just have to tone it down and just like do it quietly or just try to minimize it. Drinking, oh, I almost dropped this. Drinking carbonation definitely doesn't help. But this has really been my only pregnancy craving through this whole pregnancy. I had like a sour gushers phase in trimester 1, but I honestly wouldn't call that a craving. It's just something that I like. But seltzer water, you guys, it hits different. Or sparkling. I like Poppy too, but Poppy reminds me of my first trimester sickness, and I cannot stomach a Poppy right now. So Olipop has been my go-to. Another symptom is that my chest keeps growing, and this is something that I never thought I would see because I was always someone who was super small chested, double, triple A, like got made fun of in middle school for it. And I think I'm like a C right now, and it's been so glorious. And I'm really sad at the idea that they are gonna shrink again, but they just keep growing and growing and growing slowly but surely. So I'm curious like how big they're gonna get, but that is something that is continuing during the second trimester. Okay, this is interesting. So I have noticed that I get sunburned more easily during pregnancy. This isn't just a second trimester thing. Like I noticed in my first trimester as well, I would get super sunburned really quickly, and that's not something that happened to me in the past. Like 30 minutes in the sun with sunscreen and I have like the worst sunburn ever. So that is really interesting. And then people were pointing out to me that there are some studies that show that when you're pregnant, your skin is more sensitive to the sun. So that was really interesting. And I think that's true because I know a lot of people get melasma on their face during pregnancy. So it's just super important to wear your sunscreen when you're pregnant, whether it's on your face or your body, so that you prevent those sunspots and that sun damage. It's so hot right now. Another thing that started happening, and it's slowly but surely getting worse, is that I'm out of breath a lot more. My workouts are harder. Everything is harder. I sweat more easily. It's, I think, a combination of gaining more weight. So the heavier we are, the harder it is to move around, which makes sense. And then I'm sure there's some kind of pregnancy aspect to it as well. But I've noticed like even going for a walk or doing my normal workouts that I would do in trimester 1, they're just so hard and I sweat like immediately. For example, I would start sweating profusely during my warm up for my workout. Whereas in the past, I could get through like the warm up and the first couple of sets without breaking a sweat, and then like my heart rate would kick in and I would start like feeling like I'm working out. But now it's like getting up out of this chair is like a workout for me. Okay, and then getting dressed is super difficult. I would say through first trimester through about week 25 for me of the second trimester. Getting dressed is just so frustrating because you're in that awkward belly stage of not looking pregnant or even feeling pregnant sometimes, but your clothes don't fit you. You're just like this awkward bloated stage, and it's really hard to look at yourself in the mirror sometimes, and it's really hard to find clothes that fit you because you're in that awkward stage. So at about 25 weeks though, I will say that that gets better. My belly finally popped and people are finally noticing and being brave enough to say, "Are you pregnant?" Which has been the coolest thing to me because it's just not the case up until that point, and now you can finally like dress up the bump and you're noticeably pregnant, and getting dressed is a little bit easier. It's more fun. Even if you're not buying maternity clothes, you can still kind of like, I don't know, just change the way you're putting your clothes on your body, and it's just so much more fun. So I'll say if you're in their first or early second trimester, just hold strong because your body image will most likely go up. At least that's what it happened to me. My body image improved because I'm noticeably pregnant. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, wow, my body is beautiful. Look at this baby growing inside of me. And then other people are noticing as well. Okay, probably the biggest change, and if you've been watching, you know, I have a whole video on sleeping problems and pains, so I won't get too much into it, but basically the hip pain and the back pain started at about 25 weeks. This makes sense because this is when our body is producing more relaxin, our ligaments and our muscles are loosening to allow for this baby to grow and for our body to accommodate the baby. So it totally makes sense. I would say if you are struggling with this, go see a chiropractor. Hip pain, back pain, pains in general, foot pain, all kinds of pain in the body and aches are just starting around 25 weeks. So just mentally prepare for that. I did not know that was coming. Nobody told me that. So I kind of panicked, freaked out. You can watch that video, had a good mental breakdown, but I feel like I found a good couple of solutions, which I will touch on. That translates into sleeping. So like I said, sleeping is difficult, not only because I have to pee every hour, but also because of the pain. So just being aware that that's on the horizon for you if you are approaching 25 weeks or so, that can help you like mentally prepare. If it happens to you, you won't be shocked or surprised. Leg cramps. So leg cramps continued for me throughout my second trimester. It did happen in my first trimester as well. My doctor recommended to take magnesium and calcium, and as soon as I started taking that, they went away. So you know when you're sleeping and you're like half asleep and you kind of like stretch out, you like stretch your legs or you stretch your arms. Well, when I would stretch my legs, I immediately get Charlie horses either in my calves or my quads, and they would be so painful. So I found myself avoiding stretching until I incorporated magnesium. So I'm taking 325 milligrams of magnesium, and calcium I just take like whatever I found at the drugstore. And I noticed that now when I'm stretching, like while I'm sleeping, I don't get the cramps. So definitely something to try if you experience the leg cramps. The last thing I'll say about symptoms is that I just have this overall feeling of tightness in my belly. So that makes sense because I'm getting bigger, my skin is stretching, and it's kind of a weird, unpleasant feeling to know and feel that tightening and that expanding. It's just like a little bit weird and uncomfortable. So I'm making sure to moisturize and just keep that skin nice and supple and moisturized to help it stretch. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. I even turned down the AC for this. Okay, total weight gain so far, I'm basically 28 weeks and I fluctuate a little bit, but I would say around 22 to 23 pounds of weight gain so far. We'll see how much I gain in my third trimester. I will say I don't restrict myself from certain foods. Like I will eat all kinds of foods, but I am mindful of how much I'm eating and when I eat and whatnot, so I don't give in to every single craving. And I do maintain a decent workout routine of weightlifting and walking and a little bit of Stairmaster. So I've been trying to just be conscious of what I'm eating and not restrict myself, but also not let myself go too crazy and just give in to anything that I want at any time, because that's not healthy either. Okay, let's get into some must-haves. The first one will be a pregnancy pillow or some kind of pillow to where you can have your hip be parallel to your lower leg when you're sleeping, and a pillow that's long enough to reach to your ankle as well. This is something my chiropractor recommended to me. I did see a chiropractor at about about 26 weeks. She aligned my pelvis, and I will say that I have been sleeping much better since I saw her. I've only seen her once so far, but I'll probably do a follow-up every 3 weeks or so just to kind of stay in alignment. And this helped so much, you guys. Must have is go see a chiropractor. It's worth it. Even if she says you look great, everything is fine, it's good knowing that you did what you could. You have that peace of mind that you are in alignment. It just goes such a long way. So I'm currently using my couch cushion. This is the back cushion to my couch. And I figured I might as well use this before purchasing something. And it works great. So look around your house, see if you already have something that will work. So this is what I'm talking about. So my bottom leg is completely straight. This is what my chiropractor said to do. And you put your pregnancy pillow over here. You put your knee bent at like a 90 degree. And you want to make sure that your ankle is also on the pillow. Because if your ankle drops down like this, it can cause a lot of hip pain on the top hip. So I go like this. And then sometimes I will take a little pillow over here if I need to wedge something under my belly, and this is how I sleep. Usually in between rolls I have to go to the bathroom, so I'll be on one side for an hour and a half, go to the bathroom, then go on the other side. And I try to sleep mainly on my left side, which is this side, because I don't know, they say that sleeping on the left side helps the baby get into optimal position for birth. It is a little bit of a workout getting up in between rolls in the middle of the night. Going to the bathroom, sometimes my heart rate will be like elevated. Okay, the next must have is a squatty potty. If you don't know what a squatty potty is, it's basically something you can put your 2 feet on when you're going to the bathroom, and it elevates your feet or your knees into a more natural position for going to the bathroom. If you're not constipated, you probably don't need this, but if you are, this is a game changer. I remember the first time I tried a squatty potty, I was at my friend's house and I never tried one before, and it was game changing, and I was like, I need this. They're pretty affordable on Amazon. You can get really cool looking ones. They have like wooden ones, acrylic ones. For a while, I would use my trash can. So in the bathroom, I would just move my trash can and put my feet on that, but it was too high. And now that I'm like pregnant and bigger, it was getting like risky. Like it would fall over, and it was just a recipe for disaster. So invest the $15 into a squatty potty. You won't regret it. Next must have for me is milk of magnesium. Or milk of magnesia, however you say it. I've been through a couple of these bottles already. I will do 30 milliliters every other day, every couple of days, depending on how my body is feeling. And this just gets things going in a very gentle way. So take this at night. I leave this by my toothbrush, and I just do it right before I brush my teeth at night, just so I don't forget. And this has been working really great. It's safe during pregnancy, but of course, consult with your doctor. It says gentle relief in as little as 30 minutes. The cherry flavor is really, really good. So highly, highly recommend this. My next must have is a good sleeping aid, something that's obviously pregnancy safe. For me right now, I'm using Unisom, and that's been working great. I know some people use Benadryl, some people use a little bit of melatonin. Just be careful with what you're putting into your body. Talk to your doctor about your options and switch until you find something that works for you, because sleeping is so hard as it is, as I've discussed, and as you probably know. So just keep trying until you find something that works for you. I mentioned before magnesium and calcium for leg cramps. Magnesium is also great for sleep, so I do that in addition to the milk of magnesium. The regular magnesium helps me to sleep more peacefully. Also helps with the leg cramps. Another must-have for me is stretching. So I was never a big stretching person, but now it's almost necessary. So I do it. I don't even do it every day. I really should, but especially when I'm feeling tight in my hips and my back, I'll do some pregnancy stretches at nighttime, especially before bed. We can get the nighttime scaries of like, I know this isn't going to be a good night of sleep, so let me do everything I can to help myself sleep as best as I can. So that includes stretching before bed. Another must-have for me are comfortable shoes or house slippers wherever you are spending most of your time. So if you're working, get yourself some comfortable shoes. Like for me, my comfy shoes are so dirty and gross to the point where I work with my mom, she's like, those shoes, you need to throw them away. Like they're not appropriate for work. They're so dirty and gross. but I'm like, you don't understand. I need them. And they're expensive. They're $200 Nike sneakers. So I'm not going to get rid of them until probably after pregnancy because I need something comfortable. And then for the house, I ordered these affordable ones from Amazon. They just have a nice cushion to them. Make sure you get something with a nice cushion for around the house, especially after a long work day when you've been on your feet and you come home and you're trying to make dinner or even just walk around the house. You want to make sure you have some cushion on your feet. We have a hard tile floor and it just hurts my feet like no other. So this doesn't relieve everything of the pain, but it definitely helps. Another must-have for me is signing up for a birthing class or reading, whatever you can do to get yourself comfortable with your upcoming birth, because in the second trimester is when we start to panic, and this kind of leads into some of the emotional mental changes. I started to panic a little bit around 20 weeks or so. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually gonna have this baby. It started to feel real to me. I felt him start to move. We started the nursery, so things just felt really real. So to calm that anxiety, I would recommend a birth class or a book or chatting with friends who've been through it, and just kind of do your research and start to put your mind at ease about your upcoming birth experience. The last couple of must-haves I have are clothing. So the Halara shorts, I'm currently wearing them right now. I loved these pre-pregnancy and I love them during and I'll love them after. They're just so forgiving. You don't have to size up. So whatever size you are, pre-pregnancy will carry you through your pregnancy. And that is iconic to me because I hate spending money on unnecessary things, and they're so cute. They're so affordable. I have them in 2 colors and they're just so cute and comfortable. They're stretchy. They're viral. You probably saw them on TikTok, but I honestly had them before they were viral, okay? That and Lululemon line leggings, definitely an investment, but I loved Lululemon before pregnancy. The same size carries me through, and I'm sure it will carry me through up until birth. These are one of the best quality leggings on the market, as you may probably already know, and it's just nice to have something that you can reach for, something you know you'll feel good in and just feel confident in. And for me, that is my Halara shorts and my Lululemon leggings. I'm sweating on my butt, you guys. Oh my gosh. So finishing off with some mental emotional changes. Like I said, started to feel real around 20 weeks, started to panic a little bit, started to work on the nursery and building the furniture, just kind of, and hanging the curtains or putting the rug down, whatever it is that you're doing, just really makes it feel real. As well as starting that birthing class, whether it's online, in person, or reading that book, all of these things have really helped me kind of get there mentally because I had a hard time in the first trimester. I think everyone does, but especially if you've been TTC for a while and it's been a struggle for you to get pregnant, it can kind of feel not real to you for a long time. So doing things in the second trimester after you've confirmed, let's say, a healthy anatomy scan or whatever crossing point in your brain helps you give yourself permission, I should say, to allow this pregnancy to feel real for you. For me, that was my 20-week anatomy scan, feeling the baby move, and the combination of just that whole time, those couple of weeks around 18 to 20 weeks is what did it for me. We also started referring to our baby by his name, which was so weird at the beginning, but now it's just normal. So my family will call him by his name. We'll talk about him at home by his name and be like, oh, this is his room. Or whenever I want to buy something that's a little bit expensive, I just bought a dresser just today for the nursery. And I want to invest in a dresser that's going to be with us for a lifetime. So I didn't want to get, no offense to IKEA, I love IKEA, but I didn't want to get an IKEA dresser or a Walmart or a Wayfair dresser. So I spent a little bit more on a West Elm dresser, and I was like, well, it's for, and I said his name, and he's like, yeah, it's for him. So we have to it's worth it. So just saying his name or her name will make it feel a lot more real. And I think that overall the second trimester has been a lot more joyful. I'm obviously not feeling sick anymore, starting to show, talk to people about it. Strangers are commenting on my body. But overall, the second trimester has just been so joyful, and I'm excited for the third trimester, what it will bring. I know it'll have some hardships and some things that may be easier. I don't know if anything's gonna get easier at this point, but I think just the excitement of being closer to meeting our baby is all we need to get through the hard times. As far as appointments in the second trimester, we had our 20-week anatomy scan, which everything looked good for. We also had had our gestational diabetes test, which I passed, thank God. We just did a fetal echo because I have an IVF pregnancy. It's standard protocol to have a fetal echo, which is where they look at the heart in depth. I just had that appointment at 27 weeks. We did get some unexpected news and I'm still processing that, and I'll probably share that in the next video or upcoming. Just still processing that information because it's very fresh. Those are kind of the big appointments that you might have in your second trimester. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the description, or if you are going through a trying to conceive journey, IVF pregnancy, you can chat with me in my DMs on Instagram. I love chatting with you guys. My Instagram will be linked down below. I'll link all of the products and the clothing that I talked about in the description, as well as the Ritual prenatal, so make sure to check them out. And I think that's everything. I hope I didn't forget anything important. If you've been watching the vlogs, you can also just go back and look and see. I think this will be fun for me to look back on future pregnancies and see what I experienced during this pregnancy, and it was just fun chatting with you guys. So I am out of breath. So I will catch you guys in the next video.